Hello YouTube, Fat Man the Beard here. So I want to start off by saying I'm really sorry guys that I wasn't able to film at Emerald City Comic Con. There are multiple reasons for that and I'll get into that. This video is going to be just kind of an overview, kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly of Emerald City Comic Con 2015. Because this is going to be kind of an overview and I'm just going to talk about everything. Just kind of a few things, and then I'm going to have throughout the next probably week, I'll be coming out with 1 to 2 videos a day on specific things. I'm going to have a video. I went to the Funko panel. I'm going to have a video on that. I'm going to talk about Loot Crate, some exclusives, some other stuff in general. Show off all the stuff we got. I'm not going to show off any of that right now. I'm going to talk about a few things here. Actually, I'm going to talk about one thing I got there. Talk about some of the things I'm going to be giving away in my contest, which ended on Sunday. In that video, the winner will be announced tonight for first, second, and third place. So yeah, that video will be here tonight. But this is kind of a little overview. But the reason I wasn't able to film, guys, was a lot of reasons. The main reason is throughout we did not know this, but throughout the con, basically, there are signs everywhere. There is no videotaping and no photos. Now, this goes basically for the majority of the con, except for like the merchandise area, you know, and Artist Alley, and where they have like, you know, they're just selling merchandise in general, comic books and all that stuff. So we really, and the other biggest reason we couldn't videotape was the amount of people that were there. It just made it impossible to do any kind of videoing there. They were estimating 80,000, but it was probably closer to like 100,000 people there. So it was massive. Let me tell you right now, it was massive. So unfortunately, my girlfriend did get a small video clip of me at the Funko panel asking some questions on her iPhone. We're going to try to figure out how to get that onto YouTube. We've never done it off of a phone. We've just always used a camera. So we'll see how that goes. No promises there. I don't have it out, but I did get the Princess Leia #1 exclusive, and that will be in the first place box. And then I'm going to talk about some other stuff as well. But I want to get to the good, the bad, and the ugly of Comic-Con. I want to start off by saying, let's just start off by talking about Seattle in general. Seattle is a very weird town to be in. It's almost similar, very similar to Portland, in that it's a very hipster town, but a very different type of hipster. A little more, it's much more pretentious. So getting around in Seattle, let me just tell you right now, is horrible. This is this is my third time in Seattle, and I hadn't been there since probably 2008. And I had really forgotten how bad parking and all that stuff in general was. Our hotel was horrible. We stayed at a Quality Inn, which isn't the best, but it isn't the worst. I've stayed at other Quality Inns that were much nicer. But the biggest problem is like you have to pay to park at any hotel. So like we booked a room at the Quality Inn. They still charged us $10 a day to park in their hotel, which didn't make sense considering half the time we'd leave at night to go get dinner, come back, the parking lot would be full. Obviously they didn't have enough parking there to accommodate all the guests, so we'd have to park in paid parking, and it was just the parking in general was just a nightmare. And day one we were late just because we had to park miles away just to get to the con. I will say, anyone traveling out of state, I would highly recommend that you really do your research and really have the money, because not only you're flying into Seattle, you're going to have to take a cab everywhere, which will cost you a fortune. Parking is astronomical. It's like $22 a day to park in most garages. Food is outrageously priced, and this is because their minimum wage is like 15 bucks an hour up there. The people that work in restaurants, hotels, the convention center in general were extremely rude and not helpful. The ECC volunteers were very helpful, but the convention people were horrible. Like I said, Seattle is not my favorite town now. It's just not a very good town for being a tourist, which is sad because there are a lot of cool things. The other thing I'll get to is the Space Needle. I had never been to the Space Needle. My girlfriend had. We went there. The food is extremely overpriced. The view at night is very, very cool. But the food was good, but not for what we paid for it. So definitely, if you're going to travel to Seattle, know that you're going to Space Needle for the experience, and that you're going to pay for overpriced food. That's, it's nice food, but it's definitely not like a 3-star restaurant, as they're kind of making it appear price-wise. So yeah, that's Seattle in general. It's just not very well set up, especially the convention area. It's kind of a mess. Let's get to the con. The good part. There's a lot to see. I mean, a lot. We're talking 6 floors. The convention center is massive. 6 floors worth of stuff to see. So there was a lot of booths. There was a lot of stuff to see. Things you would not see at like a small con, like at a Wizard World Tour Con or something like that. Image Comics was there. They had a huge presence. IDW, a lot of these Omnipress, they all had like Boom. All the comic companies were there in full force, and they had massive booths. And they had every kind of comic, everything Walking Dead. Anything Walking Dead you wanted to get was there. I mean, it was just amazing to see how much. In a different video, I will also talk about all of our experience meeting celebrities and comic book artists and writers and all that stuff too. But I'll talk about that experience in another video. That, I will say, is very frustrating. So, if you're going to Emerald City Comic Con and you want to go there to get a lot of signatures or meet celebrities, you need to get the Celebrity Fast Pass. We definitely learned that right away. We spent a huge amount of time at the convention center just waiting in lines. I will tell you right now, I waited in line for Kevin Eastman for probably an hour and a half to meet Kevin Eastman, and I will obviously talk about that in another video. So definitely get a Celebrity Fast Pass if you're going to go, and that's your main goal, is to get signatures or meet celebrities. So that's kind of an ugly part of the con for sure. And like I said, the other thing is, the bad part about it is the amount of people. It is like around between noon and 1:30 all 3 days. It was an absolute nightmare. I mean, we are talking, it's elbow to elbow. It's just assholes and elbows. I mean, it's a nightmare. You cannot get to any of the booths. By around 4:30, 4 o'clock, it finally would start to slow down enough that if you wanted to go back in the merchandise areas and look at booths and all that stuff, you finally could. But it was really just a nightmare, to be honest. Even Sunday, we thought Sunday would be slow, and it was still just extreme. And we figured out too, though, that Stan Lee being there was one of the bigger problems with the convention. Not his fault, it's just he draws such a big crowd that it just floods certain areas to where you can't even access it. And I bitched about this before, another big problem is there was tons and tons of small children, tons and tons of strollers everywhere. And another thing that I've really learned about, and I haven't seen it hadn't been such a problem at the smaller conventions, but cosplay is just a nightmare, and it really is wrecking the convention, especially these big ones. And even as much as I love cosplay, it is a massive, massive problem at the conventions, and here's why. You have people who buy a 3-day pass, they make very elaborate costumes, and they come to the convention strictly to just walk around and take pictures with people. They are not there to do anything else. That is a big problem, because what you'll have is somebody will come into the convention center, come up off of an escalator, and there's into a main floor, and their costume is very cool and elaborate. Well, everyone rushes them to take pictures, jamming up the escalators, jamming up people trying to get places. People are getting stabbed in the eyes with, swords, and it's just a nightmare. Cosplay really was. I mean, if you eliminated cosplay, you would have reduced the crowd by, probably about half. of the people there, creating a little bit better environment as far as trying to get around in there, because there are literally people that just come to the convention strictly to just cosplay. They're not there to do anything else. Not that I have anything against that, but stay out. I mean, they actually had a cosplay area where you could just be standing around taking pictures with people, and it was a very large area. So it was really irritating to have those kinds of people that just would come into the writers area or, you know, the merchandise area and jam it up with people trying to take pictures of them. And so that was a huge problem at the convention center, was cosplay. Let's see what else. And I did talk to Loot Crate, and I have a whole video on them, and I think you guys will find that to be very interesting. And I will probably try and post that one tonight, as well as the contest winners tonight as well. So yeah, Funko. I did go to the Funko panel. That was very interesting. I'll do a whole video on Funko as well. But they were probably the ugliest part of the convention. And I mean that in the best possible way, because they are very nice people, and the panel was really cool to go to, and I did ask some questions. But the ugly part of Funko was people were mad. They had no booth set up there. They had no Funko Pop exclusives, which, and I will tell you this from the panel, because people were asking, people were very upset and very angry, because Funko is based in Everett, Washington, which is about 45 minutes to an hour from Seattle. So people were up there asking, why don't you have a booth like you did at San Diego? They had a massive booth at San Diego, and they showed off a lot of upcoming pops. They had no presence at Emerald City Comic Con. They had no exclusives, and people really, when that got brought up at the panel, people really, you could hear over the crowd, it was like, ugh, people were very angry about this, and they really had no excuse. They were just like, we kind of just dropped the ball. And they were apologetic, which was cool. They didn't make up any excuses. They just said, look, you know, we screwed up. So that really was, because a lot of people there were there for Funko stuff, because it is Seattle and they are from Everett. And so they did say next year that they would have a massive presence. There would be exclusives. So that was really an ugly part of the convention. So yeah, guys, that's it. I'll probably talk about some more later on. But yeah, there will be a video tonight. I will have the contest winner video tonight. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I have to go through all the names still. I've still had a lot of stuff to unpack. And I will try and get up. I do want to talk about Loot Crate right off the bat. And I will do a short video on them tonight, and I will try to get the winner video up tonight. But I want to talk about a couple more things here. So, whoops, I'm dropping things. So, I did find a couple other things I am going to be, not that though, sorry. I'm going to be giving out. So, second place will also get this Bubbles pen, little button. Second place will get that. That's just awesome. I love that. So second place is going to get that, in addition to the other things I've already got set aside for second place, and you'll also get this Scottish Ninjas sticker. I met this guy there. He does a YouTube, has a YouTube channel where he does these cartoons, and you can also go to scottishninjas.com and watch his stuff, and it's very funny stuff. Kind of a cross between Family Guy, Simpsons, and South Park is kind of where I would put it, and it's very funny. Also, third place will also get a Scottish Ninjas sticker as well. Oops. Also, I talked to Bento Comics, which is a subscription box company. You get 4 pounds of graphic novels every month for, I think with shipping, it's like $21 or something like that. And they had a booth there, and I talked to those guys for a long time. And I got a card from them and their director of communications, and they said if I got a hold of him that he would send me out a free box to do an unboxing and review it. So I'm going to try and get that going, guys, in the next month or so, and hopefully I'll be able to review that. Another cool thing is if you're into vintage toys, mtctoys.com. I've dealt with these guys several times. If you're looking for any kind of vintage 80s, especially 80s, they have a huge collection of 80s stuff. Go check these guys out. They have probably the best collection of vintage toys I've ever seen in my life. So that as well. Also, before I forget, I have one more thing to show you, but before I forget, also my girlfriend won a Funko contest as well, where if you were at ECC and you bought a pop, you took a picture of yourself with it, proving that you were ECC. She had her badge on, and she actually won the contest and won a month's. This first month of Marvel Collector Corp, she got a free subscription box. So we're actually getting 2 boxes of the Marvel Collector Corp here in April. She just got a hold of Mark at Funko, and he sent her a message and got all of her information. So that was very cool. She was very excited about that. So yeah, that was pretty cool too. One last thing I want to talk about. This is one of the items I got. I got a copy of Fright Night 2 on regular DVD. It is a bootleg copy, but the case and the DVD itself look amazing. You can't tell that this, I couldn't tell. I mean, it was even wrapped with the little sticker that you normally have to peel off right here. You know what I'm saying? You have to peel off right here, and it was all shrink wrapped. And I can't tell that this isn't a bootleg, even though I know it is. But if many of you know, this is out of print and the Fright Night the both movies, there's a whole bunch of crap. I could go and talk about that for forever as well. But finding this is out of print, and I think I've seen DVDs of this going for $400 on eBay. And I got this bootleg copy for $12 at the con. This was my biggest score. I'd been looking for this movie for years and years on DVD, and I've never been able to find it. And I know you're not supposed to buy bootlegs, but you know what? The way they've handled Fright Night, and you guys know I've talked about this in other videos, it's just been horrendous. I don't know why the accessibility to this movie is limited. They did the Blu-ray, they only get 5,000 copies or some bullshit like that. But yeah, for $12 I scored this. I did pop it in last night and took a look at it. The menu is, it's totally there. Just they have the previews, just like if you bought a DVD. It's got the menu. There are no extras, but I don't think there ever was. And the movie is definitely DVD quality, and it looks awesome, and I'm very, very excited about that. And I'm sure most of you horror fans out there know how difficult this movie is to find on DVD, let alone, I don't even think it's on, no, it's not on Blu-ray. But that's it, guys. That's kind of the overview of the con. If you guys have any more questions about Emerald City Comic Con, just put them down in the link, and I'll try and answer those tonight. Like I said, I will have a Funko. No, I'm going to put up my Loot Crate video tonight as well. And I will try and get the contest winner stuff up tonight, if not tomorrow. And then over this week, I'll probably do 1 to 2 videos every day talking about little segments of the con and some of the things I got. So look for that tonight, guys. Sorry that there was no footage, but really, if I try and whip out my camera anywhere, basically they're all over you. They'll kick you out of the convention center and they'll confiscate your video camera. So, you know, what can you do? It is what it is. So, look for those videos tonight, guys, and we'll see you later.